Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to take your seats, Liddy will take it from here with the AGM.
And we need to get up.
To have two with the people at the front, or to have me walk around and take queries from people?
Yeah, that would be really helpful because I put 4 chairs here as a random number.
Oh, okay.
Not particularly precise.
You can get some more if you need more.
Well, there's you and Amanda. Perhaps if we get a couple more. All right,
Well, do we need comments from the crowd, or are we just...
not so much. We need a couple more chairs if possible.
All right, cool.
How do we get to the agenda?
It's up there.
No.
Next one.
Oh,
Next one.
Hang on. How's that?
okay, that looks like an agenda, doesn't it?
It does.
And we had some links to the documents where the...
Yep, they're in there as well.
They're in
Next
there.
slide.
Oh,
Do you want to drive this then, Bree? Because you
Yeah,
might
I'll do
know
that.
where the things are. I'm not sure.
I'll do that.
yeah, that might be the go. Couple more chairs?
No,
You guys want to come and sit down? We're getting more chairs.
not roving. Don't worry. We're fine.
In a few minutes, when it comes up to constitutional review, I think about there.
Yeah, there's something there about setting fees.
Yeah, we have to set fees for now, so we won't set
We
them
didn't
as
put the
high. We'll set
constitution
them as
stuff in.
low or nothing now and then do it. Yeah. Okay, this is a very formal organisation and I want you all to be in very formal organisational mode. We moved to try and do the web sort of thing to a thing that everyone was members and we're very free and open. And so we are very grateful that you're here and we are calling you a quorum of the members for this meeting. And we have some apologies.
Yeah, if you go to the next slide. Oh, I added them, but they didn't come through. The apologies are Ricky Onsman and Russ Weekly.
Right.
Yep.
And it also draws my attention to the fact there are some people who've contributed and continue to contribute who aren't here as well. But
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send round a notebook. If you can write your name and your email address, that would be great, and then we can have an attendance. If you don't want to provide your name and email address, don't feel that you need to.
You could do with a microphone, you know.
I could do with a microphone.
oh yeah.
Let me repeat that. Ricky Onsman and Russ Weekly are apologies, and to take attendance I'm going to send around a book. If you could please write your name and email address. If you can't write your name and email address, just wave, someone will come over and help you. And if you don't want to add your name and email address, you don't have to, but it'll just end up being listed as attendees of the AGM.
Okay.
Next one.
The-
Confirmation of minutes.
The minutes from the last meeting. This is a sort of funny time because we would normally be having OZeWAI in November, December, so we would be back in 2019. So we're sort of thinking this is the 2019 AGM because there'll be another one at 2020. So that's why we're confirming the minutes of 2018, and we need somebody to move the acceptance of those minutes.
They've been on the website for most of the year, so I don't know if anyone's seen it, but if you want to go to the OZeWAI.org website, and the minutes are up there at annual general meeting. There's a link from the conference website as well.
So we need somebody to move that. Okay, Jan
I move to accept the minutes.
and a
Does anyone
seconder,
second?
I can second them.
Bree, and all of you who've read the minutes carefully. You happy to support that? Okay, let's move on to the next item.
I've
This
put yours over 2 pages.
Yeah,
so I
this
thought you
is
might
an
wanna read it.
attempt by me to try and provide a report for us to think about. You can read this later on, but OZeWAI has been an extraordinary organisation for more than 20 years, and it's been very successfully conferenced each year. Bree has done an amazing job in recent years, but over the past, if you look back over the conferences, you'll see we've had incredible involvement of people from all around the world. But now we're realising that we have an industry. It's a little bit different from the early days when we had to say, oh, there's a thing called accessibility. Now that we have an industry, we're thinking that our role is perhaps to be the industry association, the professional association, and to support the industry that does a lot of the things that once we did. And so that's why I've, in my report, which is available on the website for you to read, suggested that we have perhaps a time of transition in hand, and we want to make the most of that. The other bit about my report is to thank very much, can you move to the next page, all the people who have contributed this year and in the past years. OZeWAI, as I say, has been an amazing behind the scenes. I didn't know you were doing that kind of organisation. People have done all sorts of things and made it better. We want to move forward with that, but we're going to formalise it a little bit more in the future, I hope. So I would like actually a round of applause for all those fantastic people who have made OZeWAI work. And it definitely includes you people at this conference.
As the treasurer, I can just say that we've lodged our regularly now in around June, July with the Consumer Affairs Victoria. Our gross revenue is usually about the same. It's usually around 30,000 to 37,000 in this case. And expenditure is 31, and it's mainly the conference. We usually have just a little bit of a buffer left over, ready to start the next one, and this year's not much difference. We did this year get a wonderful grant from the government that really helped, especially since we are holding this in a different state. So we've used that 10,000 grant to assist people to be here. There's a couple of the speakers that you will see over today and tomorrow who we've paid for their airfare and their accommodation so they could be a part of this, and they requested assistance through that grant. It also helped us pay for the streaming and the recording and the recording that's going to go up on the YouTube as well. So we really appreciate that, and also the wonderful sponsors that we've received. And it means that we do have that slight buffer again for the one that we're going to hold next.
You move your Treasurer's report be accepted?
Oh yes, I move that my Treasurer's report is accepted.
For that?
I'm happy to second.
Okay, and everybody agree with accepting that very good report from Bree? That's wonderful. Thanks, Bree.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Yeah, we'll give you the microphone.
Yeah, I was just interested that you said you got the grant from the government. So that mean you are incorporated already, or how did you do that?
Yeah, we're an incorporated association, and
Right.
so we applied for the grant, which was one about inclusion in conferences or something like that. And we said, well, inclusion in conferences in our case was so-and-so, and it's really exciting to get a grant and get that help. I don't know if we can get it again, but it set a wonderful precedent for us, and we're very grateful.
Can I just move a vote of thanks to Bree? Moving this to the West Coast was challenging, and it required a lot of extra meetings, and I would like to move a vote of thanks to Bree for her hard work putting this together.
Second that. And all clearly in favour by clapping. That's really good. So the next thing that has come up is if we are in a transition phase, then we need to have a little bit of a look back at what we did when we incorporated and whether that really takes us forward. So I went through the Constitution as it is now, and I have sort of thought, oh, this language is not right and some sentences are missing or something.
Would you mind just holding the microphone?
Sorry. Given that we're transitioning, I had a look at the Constitution to see how we might need to work on that. And we're planning to keep work on that. You'll notice on the website that there is the Constitution as it is now and some proposed changes, but you might well be able to have a look and come up with some more changes. And certainly we hope during the year to think a lot more about how this organisation might transition, and that will have implications for the Constitution. What is important though is that the Constitution says that each year we set the fees for membership of the organisation, and until recently that fee has been set at no dollars. You pay, I think, $20 or $50 to join the association. Once you're there, you can continue at no cost. So we need to sort out what it is we want to charge for this year, and it may
That's the
be
next slide.
this year being 2020. No, I lost what I was going to say.
But basically, we need a regular membership process rather than that one-off, because we don't know who is still a member if you've come to a conference like 3 years ago and you haven't been again. So the idea is that we're looking to make it more of this professional body, have a regular membership, detail the benefits of that membership for everyone, so it's not just the conference, but what else we get out of it. We're doing a lot of other extra things. We're planning some other extra activities, and you can be involved in those as part of that update for the professional body. And I think maybe, Jerry, you've got a few more to say to that. Jerry?
I think we've got two things. We've got what are we doing this year, and what is it that we want to achieve through this year for next year. So there are two kinds of membership situations. The one that we're going to run with in 2020 and what we hope we'll be able to adopt in 2021. Jerry had some very good ideas about that.
Yeah, thanks, Liddy. Where we're at now is a very different place to where the accessibility industry was, 5, 10 and more years ago. We're at a point where accessibility is very much part of product design, product creation. It is in a very, very growing position. There are lots of people that work and provide input at different capacities in and out of the industry. There are accessibility specialists like me. There are developers with an interest and an aptitude for applying accessible technologies in product creation. There are designers. There are people who are hiring staff that need to have capabilities and capacities for accessibility and inclusive design. So how do we make sure that people with an interest, an aptitude and a career that involves accessibility are able to be found, are able to learn and grow within their capacities? A suggestion is that OZeWAI, as the leading research and I guess peak body for the industry to date, can really take a role in helping steer to steer this conversation. So what is it? What does being a member of OZeWAI actually mean? How can members benefit significantly from their OZeWAI membership? I'd ask you to think about what it means for an accountant to be a member of the Chartered Accountants Association, or for a lawyer or a doctor or some other specialist profession. What does it mean for that member to be a member of that body? What are the benefits that they get out of it? What does that body do for them in terms of research, in terms of invigorating and exploring the industry? What we'd like to do is investigate what OZeWAI can be and should be to help members, to help the industry, to contribute to research and furthering of the developing of developing. I don't even know what that means. How can OZeWAI best represent the needs of people with disabilities, people that are working within the industry, and really function as that peak body? These are things that we're going to be putting a lot of thought and mind to over the coming months. And there will be information that comes out to you as members of OZeWAI about what that looks like, perhaps so that you can contribute to that discussion as well.
Yeah. But perhaps the idea might be that you may not know much about accessibility, so you might come along to OZeWAI and whatever name we give this professional association, which is probably a bit more grown-up name than OZeWAI, but let's assume we've got a professional association. People might come to that association wanting to understand what we are, but they might also come because they know a lot about it, but actually there's this new XR stuff. I need to know about that. So I think a standard professional association would enable people to get the training that they need and to get credit for that, so that somebody who's looking for assistance knows that, well, OZeWAI has some people who are specialising in that particular thing. So it's a professional association setup, and it maintains the quality, and it gives us some quality standards, and it can advocate, of course, for us and so on. And so those are exactly what I mean by those things I don't know. And what we want to do is spend 2020 trying to work out what those things are. What are the membership categories that we have, in the sense of, obviously a person who's a researcher is going to know something very different from a person who's a policy designer, and so on. So
We've got a couple of questions.
we've got some questions.
Just thoughts on the changes. You're right on track. If we need to change it from OZeWAI, maybe just keep it simple, Australian Accessibility Group or something like that.
Yep.
So it comes up in web searches. They're really easy, so researchers and developers and so on can find it.
Take note of that.
Personally,
Got a name?
personally, I would like to see, if we can afford to, keep the membership for researchers and people with disabilities and the like very low, $10, $20. So it can be affordable, but then the group gets, like, for instance, disability lymphedema. There's an association, and basically the developers and the researchers and so on become part of it, but then they get listed as a contact. They have the members can find them in one-stop shop, easy to find. All my research for state disability plan and so on, everybody's screaming for one-stop shops basically, so it can be found easy when they want help. So they can, as a member of a developer or a researcher, can join, have their name listed on the page and the contact details, and maybe, unlike so many professional bodies that charge fortune for membership, most of this disability sector don't have big money.
Right.
Keep membership to $100 maybe, just as a token sort of thing. Bit of money coming in for the group to try and run things, but not being excessive charges for our researchers and developers, so as that can be there. So we're not charging a fortune, because it's not sustainable in this world.
Yeah, I think this
you're right
is
on the track there.
The
That's
kind
what
of
we're
thing
thinking.
that makes it very difficult for us, but is what we want to do exactly, is bear in mind that some people actually have a financial benefit that they can pay for, and some people have a contribution, and so that's part of why we want to have time to work out what are these things and what role are we going to play. Giselle, you had a
And just
question.
before that,
Yeah,
we'll put some information up on the forums.OZeWAI. We'd love your contribution to that as well.
We're thinking of doing a prospectus, perhaps if by May, where we could put some of this stuff together, and then people would have a place to comment, but we want you to contribute to that as well. So the forum will be a good place for discussion of these issues in the meantime.
Giselle, you've got a...
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Giselle Ménage from Digital Gap Initiative. I think it's a great idea that OZeWAI is looking at becoming a professional association. With Digital Gap, obviously for us, it would have to be very affordable, the membership. But the second thing is that we've been trying for the last 5 years to become a member of Standards Australia, to be part of the technical committees. And the only way to do that is to be quite a big body, which we're not. So we approached the ACAN, for example, the Australian advocacy, communication advocacy network, but they're only looking at communication technology, and we wanted to be part of a much broader peak body that could then allow us to maybe influence the development of technological standards in Australia. So if something like that could also be part of the agenda of the new professional body, I think that would be really advantageous to the accessibility community.
I think it's going to be an advantage to your group and to OZeWAI,
yes,
both ways.
Yes,
so that's certainly,
because we certainly have experts in our group, and they're probably part of OZeWAI as well. But because it's our main focus, we'd really be interested in that move.
And I think what that suggests is, when you're contributing to the forum, one thing to contribute is a use case. I mean, it's not a code-cutting
I think
use
we'll take
case,
one more
but
question because we have to go to a break.
One of the
Sorry,
things
Amanda?
one of the things that I think is worth thinking about is to use OZeWAI, or whatever you like to call it in the future, as a lobby group. Because one of the things that is very obvious, that an awful lot of people slide under the laws that exist for accessibility, say we do this and don't do this, and any law case that comes up gets paid out under the counter, no advertising, no discussion, no any guidelines for anybody in the future. So I think that as a group, if we're going to be helping the disability community, that would be one way that we could do to actually help people who have got issues with websites or games or whatever it is, to say, we can help you, ask for help.
Right. So these are things that please contribute them to the forum so that we've got them documented and we can make sure we allow for them. What I think we need to do now is we do need to set the fees for 2020. So I'm not sure. What do you suggest, Bree?
Well, you had what, individual, you had 20?
Everybody who's at this conference could be assumed to have paid, and we could say to other people $20 for an individual to join.
For this year?
For this year. And $50 for an organisation where they can bring more than one person in, and we'll have new fee structure next year. So that's my motion. Does anyone agree with that? A seconder for that?
I'll second that.
Okay, we've got a seconder, and all those in favour of it being $20 for anyone who's not in the room and free for you. I want to hear yes. Yes. Hey,
Excellent.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, we're almost done.
The idea about the transition is really nice because it's leading us to have lots and lots of questions. And so we've been thinking that there are tasks. What about the sort of in-service development courses that we need for people? What about the kind of references that we're going to give to people? What about the possibilities? And so we're thinking that the committee this year will not be the committee that does all the work, but it will be the committee of people who bring little subcommittees together to do the various jobs. Jerry, for example, is very interested in what should we be doing to offer training and so on to people. Amanda was talking about how do we want to be positioned as professionals in the field? What is it? What are we? And things like that. So Julie's been doing the website alone. We need one-stop shop for all of our stuff, not lots and lots of different technologies and places to go. Julie's got a huge job. We need a web team behind her to help her put together an exemplary and amazing website.
We actually are about to put in a new information architecture that we would like to test with everyone. So again, look at the forums for participation in that. And
we all rely on Bree. We're not even asking Bree. Bree has to run conferences for us. Bree, fortunately, has already started on next year's, which is 2020's. I know, it's weird. 2020's conference. So I'm not sure what we've got in terms of... we have a newsletter that gets put together, and again, it would be fantastic to have people who can help with that work.
I think Ricky's offered to do that again, and Russ, even though I'm not a committee member, will be part of that group. So
we need a secretary who's domiciled in Victoria, and I can say, fortunately, that Jan has played that role, and we hope that that's possible. And I'm wondering whether we want somebody who perhaps doesn't know a lot about accessibility but would like to contribute by being the treasurer to save you the work of treasury. Would that help? Because you've got a big enough job already. Now, to be honest, I have no idea what nominations we have, Jan, so you'll have to help with that one.
Have you got another microphone?
Thanks. Excellent. So would anyone like to nominate for chair? We have one nomination already, but anyone else would like to nominate for chair? Sorry?
Anywhere.
Sorry?
Chair can be based
Sorry, the
anywhere.
question
Only
was,
the
where does the
secretary.
chair have to be? The only person that has to have a particular location is the secretary has to be Victorian.
On that, location-wise, how do you hold the meetings? Is it phone calls, MSN, or...?
Yeah, we have
Zoom.
weekly or fortnightly Zoom meetings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mainly fortnightly, and we're flexible.
Well, I
Yeah.
think we're going to change if we have people on the committee responsible for subcommittees. Those subcommittees will decide when they meet.
Yeah.
We won't be getting all the group to do everything every time. do. Well, we already have a nomination.
Yep.
Because I nominated you. But you'll
So,
work with-
We'd love you have. We'd love
Okay,
to
so
have you
we'll-
as a member.
No, but you're going to be on the committee.
Excellent.
Okay, excellent.
news.
So we have one nomination for Liddy. So who would like to vote for Liddy? Aye.
Well, you don't have to vote. If there's
Yeah.
no nomination.
So
Just-
Liddy,
So she's
Yep.
seconded.
seconded, and
Whatever we do.
treasurer. Anyone would like to nominate for treasurer?
Do we have someone who could take that? It's not a very big job, but of course, but it's a job that always needs to have a person. Can anyone
I-
help out with that?
Somebody knows Excel or something.
Ah, Natalie.
Natalie, brilliant. I
Wonderful.
second that.
Thank you. Hooray.
We'll work together. That's not a problem. It's brilliant. Excellent.
Hold on, I need to catch the seconds and everything. So that Liddy, who seconded Liddy?
No,
Okay.
Okay,
all right.
Mark.
And then because there isn't another nomination, you don't need any more for that
Yeah.
one.
Okay, excellent.
And
Same thing with
Liddy
Natalie?
nominated Natalie,
Yeah.
and I seconded.
Okay, excellent. Thank
And
you.
bad luck, she got it.
Then
Secretary.
secretary.
I nominate John.
I second that.
Okay.
No other nominations? Congratulations,
Okay,
John.
excellent.
Conference convener.
Conference convener, I nominate Bree.
Oh, brilliant. I'll second that. There being no other crazy people.
Website manager.
Congratulations.
Nominate Julie.
I'll second it. Fantastic
Oh,
job.
hold on, too fast.
I think we only have to vote in the main those top
ones.
ones. The rest we can assign.
Assign,
Yeah.
excellent.
But-
Newsletter and social, I nominate Ricky.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And committee members, so everyone who has a job is a committee member, but I nominate Jerry and I nominate Amanda.
Absolutely.
And Mark as well.
And Mark.
Yep.
Yes.
And I nominate Scott.
And is there anyone else
And-
that would like to help us? Because we really love to have you coming forward. Don't be shy. We need your help. Come on, Matt. Someone like you should be doing.
I think Matt Putland, you'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Don't get too excited. And Christos, what about you? Yeah, well, you're a
Yes.
member. You're sitting here. You're a member. Okay, now I need to start writing things down.
Oh, a lot of hard work.
A committee member. So you just well, there'll be some work. So maybe something around some of the training that we need to do. You can work with Jerry or, one of the aspects. We'll work with you to work that out.
And I sometimes ask people to test website stuff and give me their feedback.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that would be great.
No, I think that's enough. I think we're just about allowed to go on that basis from voting.
I'm
Thank
just-
you very much, Bree.
I'm just
taking
finishing
this
about-
position as the conference chair. Tell us about next.
Okay,
this
so
year.
we've been very fortunate to have a partnership with Get Aboutable. It's a accessible travel organisation. They did a GoFundMe that we contributed to as part of our to work together with them to hold the 2020 conference in November, end of November, start of December in Canberra. We're looking to book the Canberra Convention Centre. It'll be an exhibition of travel, accessible travel, and combined with us as digital with a whole day devoted to accessible digital travel. So I'm already on their committee for that. The other thing we're doing is, and as members, we'd love to have you contribute to this, is that we're starting to put ourselves out as this professional body to work with other large conferences. So Ricky Onsman and Andrew Downey all went to the Web Directions, invited for free, and they were there during the breaks for people to come and talk about accessibility in OZeWAI. We're doing the same with UX Australia, and we'd like to do that with more of those kind of larger UX, tech conferences and really start to kind of build up that professional body. And this was just a test. UX Australia and Web Directions are doing this for free for us. So if you'd like to be a part of that, let me know, because as these conferences come up, maybe you know one that you'd like to go to and you'd like to support OZeWAI, and we can go to them and ask them that you attend. And then you also get to, in the breaks, talk to people about OZeWAI and accessibility. Yes, sorry, there's a...
So this is a bit of a random thought, but I'm not sure if you're aware, this is not a conference. The federal government style guide for editors,
Yes.
after years and years of being republished, I think it would be really great for OZeWAI to be involved with that, because there's a lot of stuff on webs and stuff that was never in the old versions. So I'd just like to put that in.
No, brilliant. I know Libby started that as the product owner, so I know she's now with Atlassian, but I will get in touch with who the new product owner is. I know the team there, and make sure that OZeWAI is a part of that. Excellent.
So we'll have to practice new names. So think about the name we should have too.
I think
that's the important thing.
Any other business?
Any other business? Tea.
No.
Sorry, yes.
Just bring it up. I have put it on the fishbowl, or whatever you call it. I think it's very important, talking on the lobby side of things, that everybody be aware the federal government has decided to push the welfare card, and they're going to push it onto disability holders. They're on the Centrelink disability thing, which, as we all know, with disabilities, that it's not the normal thing you buy or have to purchase or pay for or whatever. So we need to all contact our local MPs that have a say on it. Jackie Lambie, who I love, but apparently she's behind this one for some reason. I don't know if it's because Tasmania's got a problem down there. I'm not sure. But we need to talk to our federal MPs and go against it, basically.
So what I'd suggest, Mark,
So if
maybe
OZeWAI can actually perhaps do something
let's put
official.
some standard wording
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And we'll send that around to everyone who's registered and ask them to send that off. Yeah.
Mark, I'm happy to work with you on that. So maybe it's something that the two of us can work with and then present at a meeting. And then we can put it out, because that's a really, really important. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We'll get cracking.
This is an area where that move to a professional organisation is really going to benefit us, because then we empower the committee, which is essentially a board, to make statements on behalf of this community, which is really important. We can actually have a real impact. I have that in other areas of my life, in other committees that I serve on, and I think we actually have a responsibility as professionals in this industry, as people with disability, to say something and have the authority to say it. So this is a really important move, and thank you for bringing it up, Mark, 'cause that is an important move for us.
I think it's break time now.
Okay. Very well done. Thank you very much, everybody.
Very quick question. Given that the conference is co-located, what are the dates for this year? Are they confirmed?
No, we're trying to book the convention centre, so it'll be the end of November or start of December. We're waiting on their dates.
No
as
worries.
soon as we know, it'll be on the website.
We're aiming for before December 10th.
Alrighty, excellent. There's a good time